today we're going to do subtracting fractions. So last week we reviewed adding fractions, and today we're going to subtract some fractions, okay? So the thing about fractions, remember, is your denominator has to be the same, okay? So if we have, let me get a pen going here. If we have 3/8 minus 1/8, okay, remember you just subtract the numerator. So it's 3 minus 1 over 8. So that would be 2/8. And then if it can be simplified, you need to simplify it, just like we have all year long. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So it would be 1/4 would be your answer on that. Okay, so this is subtracting fractions. Now, what if we don't have a common denominator? So 1/4 minus 1/8. Okay, so then we have to find one. Okay, a common denominator. So we have to figure out which one of these or what other number they are all multiples out of. So the least common multiple is what you're looking for. So you have to figure out, will 4 go into 8 evenly? Yes, it will. So we can use that as our common denominator. Okay? But then we have to change this. We have to say 4 times what gave me 8? Well, 4 times 2 gives me 8. And then 1 times 2 gives me 2. This number has to be the same because we didn't really change the value any. Okay, because 2 over 2 is just 1. So 1/4 times 1 is just 1/4. So we didn't really change the value. These are the same fraction. They're just written differently. 1/4 and 2/8, they're the same. Since this one already has a denominator of 8, then you just leave it how it is. It's 1/8. So now it's 2/8 minus 1/8. So 2 minus 1 over 8. So it would just be 1/8 would be your answer. Okay. What about 2/3 minus 1/4? So 2/3 minus 1/4. So it is not a common denominator, so we have to make it a common denominator again. So if we have 2/3 minus 1/4, 3 won't go into 4. So now we have to find a multiple of 3 and 4. Well, what are our multiples of 3? We have 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. Our multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, and so on. Now we have one that matches, and it's the smallest one. They have others that match, like 24, but we don't want that. You can use it, but you'll have to simplify more. So we're going to use 12 as our denominator. Now, some teachers teach it where you do it vertically. That's fine as well. However you remember being taught in 5th grade is fine with me. But then we have to do, okay, 3 times what gives me 12? Well, 3 times 4. We have to do the same up here. Then 2 times 4 is 8. This is just a similar fraction, okay, an equivalent fraction. 4 times 3 gives me 12, so 1 times 3 gives me 3. Now I can subtract, and this becomes 8 minus 3 over 12, 8, 7, 6, 5 twelfths, and it's already simplified, so we don't have to simplify it anymore. Now, if you'd used a bigger number like 24, then you would have had to have simplified, which is fine as well. Either way, if you're like, oh, I didn't find the least common multiple, but I did find a common multiple, then go with that, okay? So what if we have 1.5 minus 2/3, okay? So we need to change this to an improper fraction. So you don't have to do that, but that's how I'm going to teach it. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, so 3/2 minus 2/3. The problem is we still don't have a common denominator, so we have to do one more step. So our multiples of 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, are multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, so we can use, oh, there's my alarm, my duck. We can use 6 as our common denominator. So 6 and 6. 2 times 3 is 6. So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. So 2 times 2 is 4. Let's see how they're the same. The 2 and then both of these are 3. So 9 minus 4 is 5, 6. Now, if this was a mix or an improper fraction, you'd have to change it back to a mixed number. Okay? Now, what if we have, let's say 2 and 2/3, 2 and 2/5 minus 1 and 1/4. I'm thinking these off the top of my head. Then you need to change them both to mixed numbers. We multiply and then add. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. 12/5 minus, we change them both, multiply, then add. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so 5/4. We still do not have a common denominator, so we have to find our least common multiple. Multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So when we see one that matches, we see the 20, that's what we're going to use. So 20 is our denominator. I'm going to switch colors again. So then we have to make an equivalent fraction. So 5 times 4 is 20. So 12 times 4 is 48. 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. So now we have a common denominator. 48 minus 25. So we have 8 minus 5 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. So that's 23 over 20. Now, what do you guys notice about this? This is an improper fraction. We don't want an improper fraction. So we have to say, okay, how many times will 20 go into 23? It'll go once. 1 times 20 is 20. Bring our 3 down. 1 and 3 20ths. Okay, 1 and 3/20ths would be our answer. So 2 and 2/5 minus 1 and 1/4 is 1 and 3/20. I know that's a lot of work. Okay, so just take your time and follow the steps. Now, what happens if we do 2 and 1/2 minus 3/4? Okay, well, if we're going to, so 1/2, it's hard to subtract 3/4 from 1/2. So this is why we need to make this into an improper fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 5/2 minus 3/4. Oh goodness, my pen has lost its mind. So we're going to come over here. 5/2 minus 3/4. Oh boy, it's still doing it. Okay, hold on a second. So we have 5, maybe, let's do black here. 5/2 minus 3/4. So again, you can, our multiples of 2 are 2, 4, well, we have a 4 here already. So we know we can use that as our common denominator. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. 4 times 1 is 4, so this would just stay the same. So 10 minus 3 is 7/4. Now remember, since the numerator is bigger, then that's going to be an improper fraction. We have to change it back to a mixed number. So we say, how many times does 4 go into 7? Once. 1 times 4 is 4. Remember, you can always pause these if I go too fast. That's the great thing about video. 7 minus 4 is 3. So 1 3/4. 1 3/4. We don't write like you did in elementary remainder. We're not doing remainders. We make them into a fraction. 1 3/4.